All right, what is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And in this one, I'm giving you guys my mock draft 1.0. And I know, it's a little bit late. Thursday's a week to the NFL draft. Day one of a long 7-round weekend. But better late than never. Until the draft happens, I'm about to absolutely flood you with draft content. We're going to be doing, reactions to mocks. You're going to see my mocks with trades, without trades. We already did one mock draft where you, the fans, made the picks. Might do another one of those. I'm going to be doing a video where I react to my Patreon members mock draft. So if you want me to react to your mock draft, link in the description below. Make sure you guys become a Patreon member. Also, you get other benefits, and it really helps support me in the channel. So check that out. Again, link in the description below. But in today's video, I want to start off just regular, okay? I want to start off with a mock draft with no trades. We are going to do a mock draft with trades, don't worry. But I do want to do a mock draft without trades just to put into perspective what value the Patriots could get. Maybe some players that could realistically be there for the Patriots at their already given pick. Now, obviously, the Patriots will at least make one trade, whether that is up or down, but the number of trades is unknown. Last year, for example, 2021, the Patriots only made one trade. They only made one trade, and that was to trade up to select Christian Barmore in the second round. Other than that, the Patriots stayed pat with the picks that they already had. So without further ado, let's just hop right into this. And before we do that, why don't we roll that Patriots Global intro? Because why not? Alrighty, so let's just start the clock here. Again, I have it going a little bit slower. Doesn't matter too much just because we're not making any trades, but just curious on, who's already going. Trent McDuffie leaves. Jordan Davis is gone. Chris Olave is gone. Nakobe Dean goes. And Andrew Booth goes the pick before. Not going to lie to you guys. Well, first off, I'm a little surprised they went Andrew Booth. The cornerback and secondary is a need for the Steelers, but I wouldn't say it's even a top 2 need for them. So I am a little surprised that they went Andrew Booth, but would have definitely liked to have seen Andrew Booth here at 21. It's going to be really hard for me to not make trades in this. I'm going to try my absolute best to remember to not make any trades. Jameson Williams is here. Okay, Jameson Williams is currently on the board. But guys, I want to do this realistically. In hindsight, Jameson Williams is not going to be there, okay? He's not going to be there by the Patriots' 21st overall pick, and I think it is going to be the shock of the draft if he's actually there by the 21st overall pick, okay? People are considering him the best wide receiver in this draft class with his speed, although he's coming back from an injury, what he's going to bring to an offense wherever he goes, it's going to be a game changer for that franchise. So I don't see him there at 21. If he is there at 21 in real life, you really definitely consider taking Jameson Williams, but the odds of that are extremely low. So we're going to look from a realistic standpoint and just pretend that he's not on the board. Don't love how this board has gone. See, I like Jermaine Johnson here as a potential edge rusher for the Patriots at 21, but would the Patriots really go edge rusher at 21? I think that's the question. I would say edge is a low-key need for the Patriots, but is it a big enough need to go edge in the first round? We also got Ronnie Perkins in the third round. I believe it was the third round just last year, and we haven't even seen him play. So while I do think the Patriots will add an edge rusher, I think we do still have like multiple different guys that can kind of play on the edge and kind of be serviceable players there for the Patriots defensive line and a multitude of different ways the Patriots could get pressure on opposing quarterbacks. So I'm not sure if they would go edge in the first. Trevor Penning here too. For those who don't know, I'm a big Trevor Penning fan. And obviously, you don't really want to go tackle in the first unless, hey, tackle's a ultimate need for you right now. But that would be the Bill Belichick thing to do. That would not surprise any of us if Bill Belichick decided to go Trevor Penning in the first round. I definitely do think that is a potential option for this team. Yeah, you do have still Isaiah Wynn, who's currently on your roster. You'll have Trent Brown, who's on your roster too. But you could make Isaiah Wynn expendable. You could free up a good amount of money because he's on that 5th-year option. You could free up a good amount of money, and there's still good free agents on the board. Kind of use some of that money to maybe go ahead and take a little bit more of a dip into the free agency pool because the Patriots really haven't done much with that being said. But I feel like maybe that's a little bit of a push. Taking Daxon Hill here isn't great. And I don't really want to go safety in the first either. I think there's good value that we can get, 3rd, 4th round at safety. I know people were trying to say go Zion Johnson in the first. Don't go Zion Johnson in the first. You don't go a guard in the first. Let's be honest here. So honestly, like this is really tough. There's guys off the board that I was not expecting to go off the board. And they have, oh my God, they have Jermaine Johnson as a 3rd round pick. That is insane. They have him on the big board as 32 though. See, I'm not really big on going edge in the first. See, I think the Patriots just have so many needs at cornerback. And we're not doing trades here. Again, in real life, if the Patriots were doing a trade here, I'm either trading out of the first or I'm trading down in this case because how this board went. But again, we're not doing trades in this, so I have to select somebody here. I'm going to go with Kaiir Elam, okay? The Patriots haven't met with him. That's my only thing about this. And that's not to say, hey, the Patriots are only going to draft guys that they met with. But obviously, with that being said, it's more likely they're going to draft guys that they've met with. Haven't met with Kaiir Elam. Very surprising, but they haven't. With that being said, let's look a little bit into him for those who do not know him. 6'2", 191 pounds. He's definitely going to bring that size you want as a perimeter cornerback. Some of these other cornerbacks that you get later in the rounds, even Andrew Booth, a little bit, not undersized, but just average, can't really go up against these bigger wide receivers. But Kaiir Elam's going to be able to. He's going to be able to go up against the biggest receivers in the NFL. He's long, he's physical, and I think a lot of people are nervous of Kaiir Elam to the Patriots because they hear Juwan Williams. And he's not Juwan Williams. I could see where people would say it. He's not Juwan Williams, though. He has better instincts. He's much faster. He has the ability to be your CB1. Other thing I don't really, really like about Kaiir Elam, if we pull it up, it looks like he's digressed a little as each year went on. Now, as each year went on, he obviously became more of a starting piece. I do still think he's going to be very good, okay? I do still think he's going to be a very good and serviceable player in the NFL. He's good at press man, and that's primarily what, the Patriots want to run. Only thing about him is that he does get very grabby. That's the only thing. He started getting flagged a lot in college because he was putting his hands on guys too much rather than just relying on his instincts and relying on that size to make plays. We dealt with that as Patriots fans. We saw that with J.C. Jackson. We saw that when Stephon Gilmore first originally entered his tenure with the Patriots. And that can be the difference between winning and losing a game, even if it's one flag. So that's one thing that I don't love. But I do want the Patriots to go out and get their CB1. You want Andrew Booth, obviously. Unfortunately, he's not on the board. I do think in this case, the Patriots would trade down or trade out of the first. But again, we can't do that. Again, where he wins, physicality. They say it right here before with PFF. They said Elon wins with his physicality, whether it's at the line of scrimmage or at the catch point. You'll have to pack your hard hat and lunch pail to beat him. So I like him a little bit more in man than other people have. He's going to be good to start in zone. The Patriots are going to play a lot of zone in 2022. So I think he could definitely excel with the Patriots in this upcoming season for sure. But I do think that his ability in man is a little bit um, under the radar, for lack of better words. Again, what I said earlier, he can improve on penalties. He has been a big flag machine, especially going to the NFL. It's going to be even tougher for him. Just not a lot of guys I like here. I'm not big on taking a wide receiver in the first. Um, the defensive linemen I like have already been taken off of the board also. I thought about going tackle, but is that truly a need? This is a big offensive line class where the Patriots can get guys all the way from the first to the seventh round. So because of that value, I don't think that we should go there. So I mean, I don't necessarily love it, but you're getting your starting cornerback. You're getting your starting cornerback. He's a top 5 corner in this draft class. So we're gonna go with Kyer Elam here. Took us a while, but we made our first pick. We made our first pick. Next up will be at 54. I did take some notes here too, so let me just. All right. So Nick Benito is still on the board. I also like Quay Walker a lot. Let me pull up my notes on him. I don't think I wrote down edges yet. We just got on linebackers. Quay Walker is, I would say Quay Walker is probably a top 10 linebacker in this class. I would have him ranked somewhere within the top 10. Where do you want to rank him is totally up to you, but I have him ranked within the top 10. He's a very good all-around linebacker, whether we're talking about stopping the run, whether we're talking about being a edge defender, or even some coverage skills also. Quay Walker is going to bring that, obviously also playing in Georgia. It's also tough here because if the Patriots don't get John Mechie here, the odds of him being at 85 are extremely bad. Yeah, I don't see him being there at 85. He's met with more than half the teams in the NFL so far. Okay. John Mechie is going to be a guy that goes off the board quicker than people are going to give it credit for. See, I also like Kirby Joseph too. But this is tough. This is tough because we can't trade, and there's receivers I think you can get later on, but again, none of the receivers you're going to get will you know how they're going to pair with Mac Jones. Okay, if you draft John Mechie, you know that they have that connection. You know they have that chemistry versus you draft any other guy in this draft class. You are hoping that he will translate to the NFL and have a connection with Mac Jones. It's obviously also hard not to look into Nick Benito here. I definitely think that he's an edge defender the Patriots would look into. Let's look at his trends. He's put up very respectable numbers throughout his tenure in the NFL. I mean, we're talking about overall grade of a 90.5 this past season, 88.4 in 2020, and in 2019, 78.9. He's just progressively gotten better and better each season. But he's also from Oklahoma. Belichick doesn't really draft Oklahoma guys too much. I'm looking more at this point towards offense, okay? We went with the corner in the first round. And again, I'm I'm not huge on taking a receiver here, but if it's going to be any receiver for me, it's going to be John Mechie. Again, the odds of you getting him in the third, they're not good. They're not good. Every single time I've done this, he's not been there by the Patriots' 85th overall pick. And the realistic side of that, he shouldn't be there by the Patriots' 85th overall pick, especially if he's able to be ready by training camp. I mean, it could be a tough discussion to even have there at 54. So me personally, I'm going to go with John Mechie. John Mechie, one of the best route runners in this entire draft class. Patriots are very fond of that. They're very fond with working in the short to intermediate routes. He also brings very decent speed. He's not going to be a burner, but he brings very good speed for a guy who's more of a technician, works that short to intermediate route quickness also. And again, already has that connection with Mac Jones. So we're going to go with John Mechie here. I know PFF already isn't going to like it because we selected him high, but what are you going to do about it? And Kirby Joseph goes off the board. I would have really liked to have gotten that steal here in the third. All right, let's see who do we have on the board at this point. Let me look my safeties here. Who do we have? Do we have Brisker on the board? I'm a very big fan of Jaquan Brisker. I have him. He might honestly be off the board. I have him as like my fourth or fifth best safety. But he's going to be a really good deep safety. Comparisons I've seen for him would be like a John Johnson or an Adrian Amos. I think the Patriots could really, really use that, especially with Devin McCourty potentially retiring soon. And yeah, it looks like Brisker went off the board already. I already know Kirby Joseph went off the board too. All right. Do I have Byron Cook on here? I do. So he's going to be more of a box. That's the thing. He's going to be more of a box safety. I think the Patriots already have a lot of those guys. He's a really big hitter, but he is expected to go right around the late third. So this is a pretty good spot if the Patriots did want to draft him. Kellen Dyche, I believe I'm saying that right. I'm also very big on him. I don't think tackle in the third is out of the question. Let me look at the linebackers. What linebackers do we have on the board here? All right. Man, these linebackers are just flying off the board. Yeah, these linebackers. This is a really good linebacker class, but I was not expecting these guys to fly off the board as quickly as they did. Yeah, see, I'm not a big fan of any of these guys right now at this point. Do I have Clark on here? Actually, I do. I actually, ooh. See, I actually really like Damone Clark out of LSU. I think that he would be a really good spot for New England. You look at what New England's kind of doing at linebacker versus what other teams are doing. A lot of other teams are getting more hybrid, a linebacker that's very fast, sideline to sideline coverage. Belichick really likes to play safeties in that hybrid linebacker role and just have those guys be your coverage guys at the linebacker position rather than just drafting a linebacker to do that, because he'd rather have a linebacker that's going to be big, like a Dante Hightower or on Jawan Bentley to come down and stop the run. You already have a guy like, who is it? Mac Wilson, who we just got from the Cleveland Browns in a trade, who is going to be a guy who can cover. I don't see Belichick going and being so fond of drafting another one of those guys when we really only have one big thumper right now in Jawan Bentley. So Damone Clark is an all-around linebacker. So he's going to be a guy that, he can rush the passer a little bit. He's definitely going to help stop the run. And he can play a little bit in coverage too. He's a little bit faster. He's going to be faster than your Dante Hightower. And he's a really good run stopper. All right. 6'3", 239 pounds. They say that Clark would be 50 spots higher on this board were it not for a spinal fusion surgery that kept him sidelined for his rookie season. He ticks the size and athleticism boxes wholesale with only a 7.1% missed tackle rate over his entire college career. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about him, okay? They're trying to say he's a 5th round pick. What do I have him in here as? I have him as a top. I have him as my 9th best linebacker, at least for the Patriots. Is he a guy that we could get in the 4th? They have him going about 100th as an ADP. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get him. Again, this is a really good offensive line class. There's a lot of offensive linemen I already like that are here and available. But I think there's guys we can get later. I trust the Patriots to develop these guys. Damone Clark is a guy that I like here in the 3rd, and I think really fits the Patriots system and will give the Patriots another one of those thumping guys to help stop the run that they really don't have outside of Jawan Bentley. So we're going to go there. PFF is probably going to say we drafted him too early, so they probably won't like that pick. I should have looked more into him. Should have done that for you guys. Give you guys a little bit more perspective on him. All right, we're in the 4th round here. All right. Who do we have on the board at this point? We have some good edge. Have some good edge players, I will say. Braxton Jones. What do I have on my offensive line list here? I doubt any of my safeties at this point are still on the board. Oh, no, that's corner. There's no way Deceach is still on the board. Let's look at the tackles, but there's no way. There's no way he's on the board at this point. All of my guys going off the board. They're making it definitely a little bit more difficult on me than I was hoping. If I'm going to also draft a guy in the offensive line, I'm looking more so, me specifically, I'm looking for a guy that's going to play left tackle. I think that's really what the Patriots are going to be looking for. You definitely want to look out for those guys that are going to be versatile, guys who can play multiple spots. Those guys are going to be guys I'm sure Belichick is looking for, especially in those mid to late rounds. Definitely look out for those guys for Bill Belichick to draft. The guys that I kind of have being able to play in multiple tackle spots or guard spots that were high on my list definitely were taken. Look here at Braxton Jones. I have a little bit of info on him. And why did it go back? What do they have him being? Yeah, so as I expected, he is a left tackle. Southern Utah, not a lot of competition. I don't love taking offensive linemen, especially at tackle, especially left tackle. who don't play against big collegiate competition, but he put up pretty decent numbers throughout his 3 years in college. This past year put up his best numbers, a 93.9 overall grade. He allowed 3 sacks this season, didn't allow any sacks prior to that. 2 hits, 7 hurries on 733 offensive snaps. He had a run blocking grade of 93.6 and a pass block grade of 90 overall. Doesn't really bring versatility other than left tackle, but again, that's really where you're looking for the help. 6'5", 310 pounds, not a bad size. I would say definitely a little bit undersized for your tackle, but not a terrible size. We're in the 4th here. And like I said, I like this I like this draft class period for the offensive lineman, but obviously the more you go on, the less value you're likely going to get. I like Braxton Jones here. Braxton Jones is a guy that I have later on my list, but I do still like. I do want to get a tackle somewhat higher in this draft. I think that this is going to be a need for the Patriots. And guys, Bill Belichick likes to draft not just for the needs that are currently, but also for the needs that are down the road. Next year, and even potentially this year, it could be a much bigger need than a lot of people realize. So I'm going to go with Braxton Jones here to tackle. So that's what we select there in the 4th. On to the 5th round. I do also want to double dip at corner depending on who is on the board. Let me see. Where are my safeties at? Is Hawkins off the board? Let's see. I would like to see Brad Hawkins is still on the board. Is Verone McKinney? I would love to get Verone McKinney here if we can. If he's here, this is great value. Look his first name. I don't think he's going to be here. Yeah, man, no, he's not here. Ryan Cook, no. Hawkins is probably going to be our best bet at this point. Every other guy, safety-wise, is going to be off the board. Brad Hawkins is a top 10 safety in this draft for me. And we'd be getting him here in the 5th. Do they have an average draft projection for him? 221. So we could probably get him. We could probably get him later still. So let's not go with him here. I am interested in these running backs, and I know a lot of people are going to absolutely flip off right now. Do I have Justin Schaefer on here, actually? I might. Do I have one here? I don't. Patriots gonna have to get a guard at some point. 5th round does seem like a pretty decent spot for them to go ahead and grab one. We're hearing trends. What versatility does he have? He's a left guard, and that's exactly what New England needs here. I do like him. I do like Justin Schaefer. He's a guy that I do have a little bit later on my list. Where's PFF have him going? PFF has him going around 150, 152. So this is pretty good value for the Patriots. Coming from Georgia, a bigger college, you have a pretty good idea of how he's going to move from the collegiate level to the NFL level. And the Patriots need a guard. The Patriots really need a guard. I love the tackle class more than the guard class. And I don't love the guys in like 6th, 7th round. So I'm going to go with the guard here. The Patriots do need a guard. The Patriots need a starting left guard. That's exactly what he brings. Okay. You know the competition you're going to get. He's a starting left guard for you. And now you have your plug-in starting left guard for you. You already drafted a tackle earlier on that could be a swing tackle for you this season, potentially a starter for you next season. And you have your starting guard or left guard. So now your offensive line is complete. And you're getting that guy in the 5th round, which I think is a classic Bill Belichick move. And now we're at let's look at safety. I swear if they took my boy, I'm gonna be peed, bro. Let's look at corners too while we're at it. Because there is a guy that I want to get, but for my luck, he's off the board. Are you kidding me? Right. Tell me he's off the board already. So I really like Marcus Jones. I really wanted to add Marcus Jones to this mock draft really, really, really bad. The Patriots met with Marcus Jones twice. The cornerback from, I believe, what's he from, Texas? If I believe that right, I think he's from Texas. But big special teamer. He's going to provide ability for you on the slot. Only like 5'8". He played a lot of perimeter in college and did very well, but I think at the NFL level, he'd play in the slot. Big special teamer. As a returnman, both is a punt returner and kick returner. I think he returned like 9 kick/punt returns in his entire college career, which is just absolutely insane. But it looks like he's off. We have Jack Jones, who I also know they met with. Damn. I honestly didn't expect him to go this high. So we could push for Brad Hawkins right here, but I feel like he should be there at 200th. So he's more of a guy I want to try to select in the 6th. Let's see, who do we got? They're really putting me to the test. This mock draft is going way different than I was expecting. So Josh Johnson's an interesting one out of Tulsa. Excuse me, that's not what I meant to hit. I just don't know why this is freaking out on me right now. I'm not huge on him. He has really good yards per route run. He has a pretty decent contested catch rate. You want to see that gray versus man coverage be a little bit better. Mainly a slot guy, though. Mainly a slot guy. This one's tough. I do like Josh Johnson. I think he's definitely undersized, but I do like him. But I feel like there's other routes that we could go that are better. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Patriots also look into a running back. And I know a lot of people are going to hate that, but Brandon Bolden's gone. James White's back on a 2-year contract, but we don't know how he's going to come back. He's getting older. We haven't seen the real James White in how many years. And he's coming off a season-ending injury. We don't know exactly what we're going to get there. Damian Harris is in contract year. He very well could leave in free agency. The Patriots like to be ahead with their running backs. I do like Zaquandre White, excuse me. At 6 foot, 206 pounds. What trends does he have? Not a lot of experience. Yeah, they're not going to give us much on him either. So I can't exactly give too much on him. I'm a bigger fan. He's probably the best running back, in my own personal opinion, on the board at this point. And again, it won't surprise me to see the Patriots go with a running back. So I'm going to go with the running back here. Hoping to go safety here. Please say they just did not go with him. All right, come on. Where's my guy? Where is he? I swear, if he's not there. He is still here. Like I said, he's a guy that I do like. I have him actually on my board as the 10th best. I have him about to a 4th to 5th round pick. Also played for Michigan, who had an excellent pass rush, which definitely helped him out. What the heck? 6'1", 207 pounds. Kind of look at his numbers here. Run defensive grade of 84.9. Very willing to come up and help stop the run. Coverage grade of 80.4. Put up very respectable grades. 2020 was a bit of a down year, but with the whole pandemic, I can't exactly blame him on that. His forced incompletion rate is 20%, very good. 10% missed tackle rate. Not terrible. I mean, you want that to be a little bit lower, but still not terrible. A guy who played a lot deep, especially in 2021. I'll tell you what the Patriots need, but he has experience. He's very versatile. He can play on the D-line a little bit. He can play a little bit in slot, plays a good amount of box, but he's really going to be a deep safety, which again, the Patriots need to replace Stephen McQuarrie at some point, but also really they just need that Deron Harmon replacement still. So I like going Brad Hawkins here, the safety out of Michigan. All right, with our last pick, 210. Who do we got on here? Any good receivers on the board? I do honestly feel like at this point, if Belichick doesn't go receiver, like he's just not going to go in the 7th round. Like he's just not going to take one. Let's look at Curtis Brooks. I don't like the size of him as a defensive lineman, so we're just going to pass on that. About Davis. Davis has put up respectable numbers, was out for 2020, which definitely didn't help. Mainly a run defender, which Belichick likes those guys. Belichick likes, his run defenders. You want a guy who's going to bring run and pass rush ability, but you're in the 7th round. You're late in the 7th round at this point. You're looking for a guy who can make any type of difference and a guy who can at least, help plug the middle. I like that. He had 4 sacks in 2019, had 1 this past year, had 4 quarterback hits this past year, had 4 hurries this past year. In only 5 games, too. I think this could be a potential steal for the Patriots as they still look to add within the interior of that defensive line. Let me go back here. So I do want to give a big shout out to the sponsors of the channel, betonline.ag. Guys, our partners at BetOnline continues to be the number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds and playoff fights, and even next season's futures already. And don't forget that baseball is back, guys, and the start of the Major League Baseball season is finally here. And BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting on all your favorite Vegas, casino, and poker games. It's super easy to get started. All you guys have to do is go to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use the promo code CLNS50 to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game begins. So let's go back here. Let's look at our recap. Hold up. I honestly totally forgot that we took John Mechie there for a minute. So I'm really happy we didn't go wide receiver late now. Like I said, I knew PFF was going to hate it. I knew they were going to hate it. I knew they were going to hate these two picks because of where we grabbed them. But I think it's excellent value for what the Patriots were getting. Again, keep in mind, it's hard because we weren't trading up or down. If you wanted John Mechie, I'm trading down a little bit and then selecting him to get better value. You want Damone Clark, I'm trading down, getting better value again. It's a little bit too soon, but likely wouldn't be there by the Patriots' next pick, which is why we kind of had to push a little bit in this specific case for not trading. But B+ for Kaiir Elam. I like that you're getting your starting cornerback. John Mechie, you don't need him to even perform this year, but you're getting a guy who's definitely going to help you within the future. If not even 2022, then definitely 2023. I mean, Mac Jones put up his best numbers in the red zone when he was matched up with John Mechie, so you know that connection's already there. Damone Clark, Patriots get that big thumping linebacker, some help, some depth at middle linebacker there next to Jawan Bentley, also a do-it-all linebacker. Patriots will definitely like him. Braxton Jones, Patriots get a very good starting left tackle. Whether that's for this season or next season, I preferably would say next season. But you get a guy who's more than capable of filling in that role. They gave us a C+ for Justin Schaefer in the 5th. I think that was excellent value. Me personally, the Patriots need a guard. They don't love you going guard high. Zaquandre White, they actually did like that pick. I like that pick also. I think the Patriots got very good value at 170 where they select him in the 5th round. Brad Hawkins, I also really like this one. It's a 6th round. You reach the 6th, 7th round, you're taking flyers on guys. You're hoping that they can make any type of difference, whether it's on special teams or just in general. And I think Brad Hawkins definitely came for the Patriots, be that deep safety for them, but also has versatility, like we said earlier, can play deep, can play slot, can play box. So I really like him. And then Kalia Davis, who we got on the defensive line late in the 6th round here, gave us a B- for it. It is what it is. I mean, again, you're taking flyers on these guys, and the Patriots didn't take a defensive lineman yet. So we took a flyer on this guy, a big run stopper, a guy who can help plug the middle. I like it. They give us an overall a C+. Like I mentioned, I liked this draft overall for the Patriots. Without trading, it was a little bit tough, but I liked what we were able to get overall. So this is going to be my Patriots mock draft 1.0 without trades. The board did not shake out exactly how I was expecting at all. A lot of these big name guys, the guys that I really like for the Patriots, were just flying off the board before we were able to grab them. But nonetheless, hey, that's the draft. That's how things are going to go. It's not going to go as expected. But we're going to do more of these mock drafts, so make sure you guys comment below in the comment section how you guys feel about this. But like always, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. But I will catch you guys in the next one. And like always, go Patriots.